We got sheetrock. Oh, it's a little hard to see. There's no light in here. But yeah, we got a couple stacks of sheetrock in here. So yeah, let's get to rocking.
Yeah, I know. I know. Major disaster. World's coming to a fall. I know. The sky is falling.
The average household in the U.S. carries over $8,000 in credit card debt. Ready for something different? With a cash out refinance from Quicken Loans, you can quickly and easily put some of the equity in your home to good use by paying off a lot of that high-interest credit card debt. A great way to take mortgage. So right today in our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage for 3.99%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com for change dollar order. 18% B2C with discount rates. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License number.
My tool belt's starting to finally die. First my buckle broke, so I don't have the other thing to hold this down anymore. And then my loop broke where I put my sheetrock knife, which I guess is understandable since the sheetrock knife is a little sharp. But that broke, and I got a hole in this pocket. Looks like I burned it probably when I was grinding something. But all the screws keep falling out of it. That sucks. I've had this belt for a few years now, and the rest of it is alright. Just nicely broken in, and now it's all trashed. Oh well, time for a new one. the pocket door in last night. So now we can sheetrock that. These things are, I don't know, a little chintzy, but should be alright. I mean, I've installed a few of them before, and they turned out alright, and we've even tiled to the sheetrock on the outside of it. I don't really like tiling to sheetrock, but apparently it's fine. But I mean, it's still holding up, so I guess you can. Yeah, some of our sheetrock got a little beat up when we got it. Well, I mean, we definitely did our fair share of beating it up and breaking stuff along the way. I mean, it's definitely not perfect, but you know, I've been taping for years, and there's some people out there, they'll whine and cry and complain about the sheetrock being messed up, and they want it to be perfect before they tape it, but it's really not that big of a deal. You know, wherever it is messed up, if you break it, make sure you just pull the chunks out. Let's see, where did we do that? Like here. So it was broken here. Just make sure you get rid of all the loose paper, break the chunk out of it. You know, like in that corner there too. It'll be fine. What you do is, before you start your first coat of taping, you just want to fill it with Drywall. I prefer 45 minute. Gives me a little more time to work with it before it gets solid in the pan. And yeah, I go through, fill in all my gaps, cracks, holes, everything like that with the Drywall, and then I'll come back and tape over it. The Drywall hardens like concrete, so it's really nice. It gives you a nice base to tape over, and it's nice and solid. But a lot of times, to help me keep me from getting bubbles in the tape, and when I'm doing my first coat, there is like small stuff like this. See how it's just pushed up? I'll take my knife with a nice sharp tip. I don't have my razor knife on me, but see if this one's sharp enough. And I'll just kind of cut, yeah, like that, a nice little 45 on it, just to get rid of that burr. Is it doing it? Kind of. Anyways, it's a lot easier when you have like a brand new razor knife to do all that with. But that'll definitely help you with keeping or not getting bubbles in your tape. You know, I think out of my 10 plus years of taping, I've only had maybe a handful of bubbles, and it's just from neglecting stuff like this, or somebody else prepped it before me. I try to go through, even if somebody else was before me, and do my own prep, because then I know it's solid and I don't have to worry about it. And then another thing is making sure all your screws are down, which I carry another little tool with me. I'll show you when I do the taping. But for, I mean, even stuff like this, I'll fill that in with Drywall, so it's nice and flat. And then I'll, when I'm taping it, I'll put a piece of tape over that too. And then, you know, it's good as new. And then do the rest of my 2 coats on top of it. And then little note there. Sorry for the taper. Yeah, I'm a sheetrocker right now. I don't tape. So once I put the taping hat on, then I'll be a different story. I'll be complaining about the sheetrocker, how much he sucks all the time. So these plates, little nail-on plates. Let me find some light. Just little metal plates nailed on. Got spikes in them. And hopefully I have enough room here. That should be alright. It'll cut out a little weird for the pipe there, but the top one would be a lot easier. Just stick it over and I'll hammer it on. But these will keep from any screws that go through the sheetrock, keep you from drilling into the pipe if you miss your target. Because like at the bottom, you're pretty close to the stud there. I mean, we try to line everything, that all the sheetrock, so we know exactly where the stud is. But sometimes you get in a rush and forget to line something. Also, so another tip is when you're sheetrocking, you want to weave everything. When you build a house, you want to weave a basket, basically. So you don't want any of your joints lining up. See, there's not one down here, but there's one up here. You move down, there's one here, and then not one there. So it's tying everything together, and it makes it, I don't know how many times stronger, but a whole lot. Also, I mean, some people might argue with taping it too, is that you want to stand the boards up. Don't do that. Like I said, you want to weave a basket. You want everything tied together. These two are a little closer together than I'd like, but it's still doing its job. It's still not right above each other. The whole standing boards up thing, that's, I don't know, that's a commercial thing when the building is already so structurally strong that you don't have to worry about anything moving. This is just, you know, wood it has flex to it, but if you can tie it together any way possible, always do that. And another thing is doorways. If you've ever looked over a lot of doorways, you will see the famous cracking going up, usually at like a 45 off the corners. The way to really help that out is do your doorways and your windows in one shot. So this board goes all the way up and over, even though there's not a whole lot on this side, it's still all the way around. Same with this one, up, over, and around. Again, no seam, or stagger your seam. We were able to do the bottom in one shot, and then did the top there. You know, like this window, there's no seam above the window. Yeah, it's not much here. I definitely would have liked a little more. Just, you know, did save one seam on that one. We could have moved the board over, but we would have had another split there, and that would have given it quite a bit more over here. Oh, looks like I missed a couple spots of screws here. You didn't see that. We're not going to talk about that. I'll fix it. But I always go back over everything when I'm done sheetrocking, making sure I didn't miss any screws. Sometimes you get in a rush, you're flying through, just throw a couple tacks in it and move to the next board, waiting for somebody else to come screw it off if you have multiple people working. If not, I usually screw everything together myself. Or I'll finish every board when I'm done. Here's another good example where we made sure we did this side first, so that way we can get it up and over to the door, and then put our fill-in piece at the end. Because there's no seam in the bottom here, so it was okay to put a seam anywhere in here, but at the same time we wanted to stagger the door. So make sure you do this. It'll definitely help with the cracking around the corners. You know, same thing in here. That's different. We're putting trim around that one, but also see there's no seam all staggered here. Same thing in here. Oh wait, I think the boss screwed up on this one. I just screwed this off, but yeah, he definitely left the seam all the way down the entire room. Shame, tisk. So if it cracks there, I'm totally blaming him. Also, having one of these makes life really easy. So perfecto! Alright, so we got most of the sheetrock up. We started doing some mud, so I figured I would do a walkthrough of all the sheetrock. I can finish the video of that.